Hello, everyone. Welcome to another stream here at Spilling Tea. Yes, this is the birthday stream. Believe it or not, I turned 37 as of tomorrow. I was born in 1984, November 11th, at a precisely 11 o'clock p.m. at night. So I almost was a November 12th baby. So I figured it was suggested in another stream I participated in yesterday, and I figured why not. But instead of me babbling on as per usual, going from subject to subject, I am letting the chat go ahead and control the birthday stream. We're going to talk about whatever you folks want to talk about. So let's go ahead and say hi to everyone. Hi, Sean B. Thank you for coming by. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Miss Jenny. Thank you, Chloe. Hello, Cement Shoes. Hello, Linda. Oh, Christine is here. Hello, Christine. Hello, Linda A. And also, I'm having a real little sister moment. I'm turning 37. But next year, come August, it's going to be my brother's 40th. He's 2 years and a half older than me. So it is my obligatory right and duty as a little sister to come up with some of the most horrible gag gifts that I can possibly imagine. So if you guys would like to talk about it, I would love some ideas. All right. But other than that, all right, folks, what have you seen in the news? What have you seen lately? Let me know in the comments. Party? No. So this is more of a birthday stream. I don't do parties. Parties require me to people. And I don't like having to people. So no party, just a nice lunch on Friday and going to see the Eternals. Here's to hoping it doesn't suck. Because if they screw up one more Marvel movie, one more, I'll lose my shit. I will lose my shit if it turns into another Captain Marvel. I'm just saying. Just saying. I have not. I have not seen her parodies. Are they as good as Darth's? Are they as good as Darth's? Because his just... I'm not over the Barn Witch. Not over it. So, by the way, folks, I know I said I wouldn't choose the topic, but I got to spout off just a little bit. One of the most common things that trolls do, whether it's to the actually autistic folks, whether it's to Justice for JD community, is that absolutely usual tactic of appeal to authority. So what is appeal to authority? That is when you say something completely horrendous, hateful, and just completely awful about an individual, and then we'll use your title as a means to justify your words as though they are facts and that you should be given more credence than the average person in regards to the subject that you are opining your god-awful opinion about. That's appeal to authority. In the autistic community, what that tends to look like when we have trolls who don't even have the diagnosis, that's when they will go in and say, but I have this degree and that degree and this degree and that degree. What you're saying isn't true, and I'm the authority. You should trust me. In the JD community, we've recently had somebody come out and say, but I'm a counselor, and he's not innocent because he's a drug addict. Now, here's the fun thing that I get to do to those people. I, too, can appeal to authority. As somebody who has worked in the mental health and the developmentally disabled fields, I, too, can actually use the very same weapons that they use to troll us and throw it right back in their faces. Which I did with this particular individual, by the way, just in case anyone was wondering. But I'll go in and out in a minute. I'm ranting. Just basically calling her out for having no compassion for those who suffer from addiction whatsoever. And also, letting her know just how ableist her and all the other church saints happen to be. So here's the link, and I give it to Chloe. I think, nope, that's the link to the stream itself. No! Hold on, folks. I will find it. Send link, send link, send link. Here we go. Now I can do it. I go robot sometimes. I'm on a Chromebook, sue me. Alright, folks. So, Chloe, there's the StreamYard link. If anybody else wants to hop on, there's the StreamYard link. In the meantime, keep the chat going. I'm gonna pop in and out real quick. Chloe, don't panic, but apparently I sound like a robot, so I gotta.
You do. You really do. Happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. See, I said it'd be a second. Am I better?
Yes, you are.
But yeah, I had to rant about that because people do. They appeal to authority all the time.
Can I just say, it really worked when you went on the rant as well. It was just like...
Jenny's on data, so she can't pop on. That's okay, Jenny. That's okay. Keely said she might pop in a little bit later. I sent the link out to some other folks as well, so we might see them pop in. But yes, I'm turning 37. My question is, have I started to look it yet?
No.
I am almost 40.
Tiffany, darling, you do not even look like you're in your 30s, darling.
See, folks, I'm actually 1 year older than Miss Sing AH. She looks damn near 30 years older than me.
Yeah, she does.
So, everyone, truth is good for wrinkles, and it's excellent for skincare.
It's called water, a shower, and okay. If people don't actually know, I was born September 7, 2001. So making me 20.
Yep, I was born in 84. And of course, I get the very nice distinction of being alive for as long as the very first Nightmare on Elm Street. And this gives me deep joy. Deep joy. Just saying, deep joy. Right? AH looks older than me, and I'm 10 years older than her. But when you're not a lying C word, it
See you
does
next
one.
Tuesday.
It does wonders. You don't get those crow's eyes around your eyes. You don't get those wrinkles on your forehead. When you're not so full of yourself and pumping yourself full of cheek
Botox.
implants, you don't have to deal with floating cheek implants. You don't have to fill it with
Mhm.
filler. It's fantastic for the skin. Just lies are bad for your skin and will age you faster than drugs.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, here's something that's really funny. I get ID'd for my energy drinks when I go into McCall's in Tesco, the shop that I'm working at. I get ID'd to buy my own energy drink, to buy my energy drinks. I'm like, so the legal age to buy energy drinks over here in the UK is 16. According to them, I look 15.
I used to have that. I was like 21 and going to the bars downtown and seeing the bands a lot more often than I do these days. I had spare money back then. God, I miss that.
What's money? I haven't had that for like about a week now.
Right? But yeah, I'd go downtown to see the bands, and I want a Long Island. They'd be like,
ID.
"Are you even old enough to drive?" I might put my ID there, and they'd hold it up to the light almost every time until they got to know me down there.
That's the
And
worst part, right? You sit there and you get the once over, like, you
no, what's
sure you're
worse
old
is
enough?
eventually the bartender got to know me and gave me the nickname of Elvira. And my nickname downtown is now forever Elvira for the rest of my continued existence in the city. Fun. Fun. I don't even know how that works. I was more corporate goth than anything, especially back then when I was working for the state.
Hold on, I'm going file digging. You will probably see how weird I looked back then.
Well, thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. Tomorrow I'll be working, so I won't get to do any real celebrating. It's just going to be my normal get up at stupid clock and do my usual work day. But Friday, the day after, I get to take 4 hours off of my shift at the end of the day. Thank God. Thank God. And go out, have a nice lunch with my mommy, and then cross my fingers and hope the God Eternals don't suck. But if it does, I guess her and I will just have to make our own fun during the film. If I could get away with recording it, if we turned to heckling, I would do it because I have a feeling like a video like that would get a lot of views.
Mm. Okay, I found a picture of me.
Oh.
So I'll screen share it because I look really. So it's at prom. There's me.
Oh, look at that dress. Look at that dress. Nice. Okay.
But, like, I had like very obvious tan lines, which made it even worse. So I was like, oh god.
All right. I hope I'm still on. Okay, good. So if we have to do that, I have to pull up some pics. So let's go in here.
Everyone's complimenting like my dress. It's like, oh my
It is a
gosh.
gorgeous dress.
Bearing in mind, like all the girls have spent like £1,000 on their dresses, and I'm there, and I'm like, I bought mine for like 200.
All right. So I am trying to. Yep. It's photo time. Okay, so I need some of my, like, way older ones. Find some from when I was about around your age, Chloe.
Oh God, don't remind me that I'm really young.
Okay. Here we go. All right, so we are going to do a bit of a share. So hopefully this doesn't knock me off stream. I'm trying not to have a Rob Rules moment. Okay, we're going to share.
Try in chat, because otherwise I'm going to freak out.
Okay, so here we go, folks. This is one from when I was Chloe's age. That's me and my mommy.
It does not look like you though, Tiff, and you've gone robotic again, darling.
Oh well, I'm looking at photos. And feels slightly better. Chloe, this was me. I was about 21 there.
You do not no, that does not look like you though, Tiff.
And that's my two brothers. And a lot of photos of cats. And when I mean corporate goth days, folks, I mean streaks in the hair, business suit, corporate goths.
Mm.
And there, at the streaks.
Mm. Sorry, Linda A just brought up an actual point.
Mm.
They said more expensive doesn't mean prettier. Have you seen red carpet dresses in Hollywood? All those dresses are ridiculously expensive, and some look absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, here's another one. This is during one of the events I attended. I'm the girl on pigtails that Don Rethman photobombed me in.
Mm. Screams of Anubis is here as well.
And
some look like you, and then others don't. You know what I mean?
No, I get Nah, not those. Those are like new photos back in like 2014. God.
I was 13 then.
Let's see here. Albums. Oh God, I have a lot of mobile uploads. There are a lot of cat photos.
There's a picture of you with the Sugar Skull makeup.
Yep. That wasn't that long ago.
Mm.
That was a couple of Halloweens ago. And last but not least, because it's my birthday, I get to show this. These are my mom's dogs. Opers is no longer with us, unfortunately. But Emma's is the one sitting on top.
Aww.
And Emma's is precious. And she's a princess.
Aww. Rest in peace, the doggies.
And if you want to see me when I'm little, this picture here, you see the guy with muscles and glasses, and the pipe was my dad. One right in front of him is my mom, and there's toddler me. And I really
oh my gosh. press stop. Yeah. And then you're going to have to disconnect because you're robotic sounding.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Please stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We have some technical difficulties.
You okay there, Chloe?
Yeah. I was just like, please stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate it. It's okay, Christine. Thank you for coming by. And then Chloe. They are.
Yeah.
And then you see some of us who go to Goodwill because we broke.
We be broke.
And we find some of the most gorgeous vintage stuff.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Just saying. And yes, it was a beautiful dress.
I've actually still got that prom dress, actually, to be quite honest with people.
That one with me and the flute, that blue kind of medieval dress that you saw, that was my dress for junior prom.
Oh, that was beautiful.
I wanted to make a point. Apparently,
you
so
are
did
very,
you.
like, I'm going to be very honest with you. You're, like, very elf-like. Middle-earth elf-like, you know what I mean?
Well, especially with the flute. Yeah, that was poor Taco. And
that was the cat that could flush the toilet by himself, right?
Yep. And Taco passed away because one of my former roommates suddenly changed his food and his litter on him. And he was already not so great in health. So we had him on a very specific diet, specific litter. And poor thing, he just couldn't handle the shock, became constipated. And he stayed that way for way too long, to the point that he would have had to end up with dialysis plus be pumped. He would have been on dialysis the rest of his life. And the sad fact was, I can't afford that, especially not then. I didn't have a job at that point, and I was wondering where the hell the rent was going to come in, which was due in the next couple of days after that. So we had to put him down, unfortunately. But we have Brahma, and Brahma helped fill the hole, and Taco is running around somewhere, chasing a mouse, wondering why it doesn't squeak. Wait.
Then you've also got church as well.
Yes, we do. Oh, Jenny. I was like that, especially in middle school. God, if you could ever get me in anything other than a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers, my God, you just did a miracle. Because no, I was anti-makeup, anti-dress clothes, anti-dress wearing of any kind. I was about my t-shirts, my flannel, my jeans, and my tennis shoes. And that was it. That was pretty much it. And I remained that way until I was about sophomore in high school.
I've got good news, guys. So you know about my front door that I said that got kicked in?
Yes.
It's finally been replaced, and today they just put a lock on it.
Yay! Could be worse. He could be chasing the death of rats. Yeah, I think. See, he never wanted to kill the mice or the squirrels. Oh my God, he had a feud going on with a squirrel, with one particular squirrel that lived on the tree, like literally a little bit to the left of the window balcony there. And every day that squirrel would show up and stare at him mockingly, would sit there for an hour staring at Taco through the glass. One time actually crawled up, went over the wood piece, was this far from the window, staring Taco in the face. And Taco gets so mad. I'm like, did he flip you off?
I kind of want to just draw a squirrel with it, like with the middle finger. I see a Brahma.
Hi, Mr. Mew. You gonna get your chair? Allergic to it is part of the reason why I'm blind. Oh my gosh. Your mom dressed you longer than you'd like to admit. Oh God. My mom boofed my freaking hair. Boofed it all the time and for school pictures. And I hated it. And as soon as I get on the bus, I would like lick my palms and just go. And still I couldn't get all the boof. There was too much hairspray. But it.
So basically you were a walking fire hazard.
Pretty much. And I'm sure it smelled lovely with saliva and hairspray.
Walking fire hazard.
About me, a chubby teen, a pink rah-rah skirt. Oh, God.
I am uneducated. People are going to have to educate me.
The only thing American I can compare that to is possibly way too short cheerleading skirt.
Oh.
And yes, I'm ashamed to say I was a Mighty Mite cheerleader. But by the time I hit high school, I was like, no. Just no.
Who wants a funny story? Because I'll give you a funny story.
Do tell.
I was in high school, gymnastics class. We were learning how to use springboards and trampettes. Okay? So
I remember these times from when I was a little girl.
So I tried to jump off on the trampette. Didn't work. It didn't go quite to plan. I flew over the trampette and landed face first into a crash mat.
Ooh, God, I remember those.
So I had my whole left side was completely bruised. And then my mum looked at me and she said to me, "How did you get that bruise?" Gym class. And she just looked at me and she was like, then my brother joined in. He was like, ha, 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 you're an idiot.
Yes, well, you're in gymnastics. Injuries happen, people. They do. Even when you totally jump and try to do a flip that turns into a belly flop into a pool full of styrofoam squares.
Oh, those hurt.
Oh, it was like an Olympic-sized pool that was like several feet deep.
Okay, those hurt. Those really hurt.
Actually, though, I freaking loved jumping into that thing. I was fearless when I was a kid. Like, run, jump! Tiffany, that was supposed to catch you if you fall. Zoom! And she didn't even hear me. You're supposed to be learning balance soon. That was one of the few things that I could actually manage to find energy for.
When we did trampolining class, that was fun. So they told us to do all these routines. Now, they just told us to jump on the trampoline, right? So my fucking ass decided to turn around and go, well, I can do all of this. So I did front drop, so I went like that. Seat drop, half twist, seat drop, half twist, and then go on my front. That last bit didn't go to plan. And ouch.
Okay, so a raw skirt is apparently a multi-tiered confection of nausea.
Thanks, Gina.
I won't ask. I won't do it. But yeah, gymnastics when you were a kid, especially God, when it was in the 90s. Like, y'all think safety protocol is not great in sports now?
Oh, no, it did not exist back then.
Not to mention, neither did PC culture. There was
it didn't even really in the early 2000s either.
There was a particular football game that was called, God, YouTube, do not take me off for hate speech for this. I'm just saying the name of what the game was in the 90s. It was called Smear the Queer. It was a 90s thing, and it was widespread. Am I saying that that name was incredibly homophobic? Yes. Yes, it was. But that was literally the name of the game. Google it. I may have just put myself in YouTube jail. We'll find out after the stream.
We'll totally find out. If I find out you haven't been streaming on the Monday night, we'll find out. We will know why.
Because I mentioned a 90s game, because the 90s did not care about your feelings.
It was like that in the early 2000s, though. Had your feelings hurt? Tough shit. Fucking deal with it.
Pretty much. What was one of the lines? Oh, yeah, tough titties.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I've been waiting to do this rant. The term woke was stolen from Gen X.
Yeah.
We created the term. What the term originally meant was to be anti-PC, anti-censorship, and anti-media. We were anti anyone telling us a particular way we have to think or be, or tell us we could only watch certain things. Then the term to be awake meant to not just take what was being spoon-fed to you. That was the whole concept of it. And then it was stolen from us by the establishment. And now it means something completely opposite,
fucking different
from the original idea. So I just wanted to explain that that term and its meaning was taken from us and made completely, it's been turned into a parody of itself.
Yeah.
I'm still salty about it. So
say we go.
I mean, even Miss Chloe here knew that.
But what the worst part is, right? Like, I'm ashamed to be a part of, like, Gen Z, in a way. I am actually ashamed. From my sense of humor, I'm a millennial. My sense of humor is millennial.
I'm not entirely sure that you have a heavy smattering of Gen X in you. You do.
Yeah, I was born in the wrong time, Tiffany.
No, the 90s did not care at all about your feelings. And it started to go downhill in the late 90s, 98, 99 was when all this bull started, with everything having to be PC. And we railed against it. That's what woke culture was at that point in time. It was those of us who were railing against the censorship and the media and basically telling us who we could be and what we were supposed to think.
But everyone can confirm, everyone who's met me has confirmed I was born in the wrong time. In the wrong generation, per se. Because I'm very, like, my sense of humor of wanting to die and all that is, like, millennial. And then, like, I have some sets of Gen X, like, mindsets of Gen X. So it's like...
Yes, very much... We don't care about your feelings. Work smarter, not harder. That generation.
Jenny's comment.
Oh my god. I'm at screaming freedom and running off like an idiot when I land if it happens.
Oh, that would be fucking hilarious.
Don't forget to come by Missouri. We have cashew chicken where I live. I'm just saying. We're the city where it was created. You can look it up if you don't believe me.
I know.
It's on Wikipedia.
Darling, it's not like Paul talks to me every now and again, is it? Wow, the sarcasm in that was really painful. I am so sorry.
Oh no, you're good, dear. You have a job, and now you get to deal with job-level sarcasm and hating of everything.
So basically, we can be assholes to each other and get away with it.
Yep, this is true. We came from the baby boomers. And my God, the baby boomers were worried about us, if you could believe it. They were all worried about us Gen Xers. And now we are all just sitting back, sitting there saying, now we're not so bad, are we?
No, can I just point out something? I know this is going to sound, like, really, like, old-fashioned of me, in a way. But, like, have you seen people's fucking skirts nowadays? In the UK, particular?
I've seen it everywhere.
They basically show your pun. They show the cat. What are you trying to... You're not trying to hide something. You're trying to show it. I'm sorry, but, like, when I was a little girl, it was a shame to dress up as a whore.
In the 90s, it depended on what you were going for.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it if you were going for shock value, if you were trying to make a point of some kind.
Oh, yeah.
Then you could do whatever you want. Oh my God, fuck. Burning Man was huge in the 90s. Burning Man is a festival out here in the US where a bunch of teenagers and people in their 20s with more money, alcohol, and weed than sense will go out into the middle of a field and construct a giant freaking statue of a kind of looking guy. And it's huge.
V-Fest.
And they will just sit there and somehow they end up half naked. Nobody knows. And dancing, and then they light it on fire.
So V-Fest, but on drugs. A lot more drugs than V-Fest would normally be on.
And everyone's like, that sounds fun. Not for this autistic bitch, it isn't. No way in hell.
No.
It'd be a freaking sensory nightmare. If it weren't a sensory nightmare, I would go there just for curiosity's sake. But that many people in that close proximity of me is like this stuff of nightmares. makes me wonder how I managed a Megadeth concert, although I did manage to find a stool to stand on, so I was above the crowd. Which somehow made it
on Youngblood. Don't get me started on Youngblood. Youngblood. Ooh, where do I go there? You have that one motherfucker way too tall that stands right in front of you.
Okay. Jenny makes a point here, and I just want to say something. Chaos is an autistic's worst fucking nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
We thrive on order, routine, rules, facts, especially on changing facts. That's even better. We do not do well with constant change or absolute chaos. Now, there are times I will support chaos, but that doesn't mean I want to be right in the middle of it. There are times I might cause the chaos, like with, JRC if I lived in the Boston area. Just saying.
Tiffany, darling.
Mm.
So, I've got an update about what happened to my ex, who's probably going to get prosecuted and a restraining order on.
I believe I heard this morning, but let the chat know. Some of them have been worried.
Basically, they're going to put a restraining order against him. And a couple of months ago, I got a tip-off from my mate today saying that he's beating up his boyfriend.
Have they just permanently arrested him yet? I mean, he's stalking.
No, he's out the county. He's run out county, and he's not allowed back in the county for the sake of hurting someone.
Oh, at least there's that.
Because to get to where I live, you have to travel through his ex-boyfriend's territory. Now, I'm scared for his ex-boyfriend because even though I've met his ex-boyfriend and he's lovely, the fact that he hurt him just pissed me off.
Yeah, it would me.
But I remember looking his ex-boyfriend dead in the eye and said, "You're going to get hurt." Didn't believe me. 3 months later, after Jay broke up with me, he then proceeded to put his boyfriend's head through a car.
God.
I know. So basically, he tried to kill him.
See, people like him and AH are dangerous people. And don't sit there and try to tell me that they're not, especially with her. She did it once.
Look what happened to me. I just about survived with my life. So did that guy. I feel really sorry for that guy. I feel really sorry for the ex-boyfriend. I really want to go to my hometown, which is where he lives, to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Because I actually worry for him. I really worry for him. I'm going to call him Alan, even though his name's not Alan. I feel really sorry for Alan.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. That's God.
Because I got off lightly for what he's done to him. What Jay's done to Alan.
Don't do that. I've done it to myself too. We as victims, and we all do it, we have this very bad tendency to look at what we went through as something less in comparison of. Trauma is trauma. Abuse is abuse. And psychological damage is psychological damage. And we do not need to be comparing our trauma to another's and making it feel less, because in the process of doing that, what we are essentially doing, saying, well, our trauma isn't quite as bad, and deeper in the subconscious, that means I just need to get over it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was when it was. And it's something a lot of victims do. I've done it in the past. I can kind of hear you doing it now. We can't do that to ourselves. We can't do that.
But I'm not gonna lie, it makes me feel terrible, the fact that like Alan went through that shit.
Absolutely. No.
Because Alan saw me suffer, and then Alan went through the same.
But I mean, these people are dangerous, and not just to their original targets, but to everyone around them. So, but yeah, sorry I kind of went off there, but I've seen other people do it. I've literally heard JD on one of his interviews saying it's not close in comparison with what people are going through with COVID. I'm like, dude, don't do it. Don't lessen your trauma by comparing your pain to someone else's. That is not fair to you, and it's detrimental to healing past what you have gone through.
But on the plus side, I can go back to where I was born as well, because he's moved out of the town that I was born in.
Nice.
Then so I can actually go back there finally and enjoy myself, like, and have a nice day up there. And smile.
That I'm glad to hear that. I was born in Sedalia, Missouri. And I don't care, turd stains, if you manage to find this channel, which I highly doubt because I'm not that big, but just in case, go ahead and dox me. My lawyers will be reaching you in the morning. I don't give a shit. I'm a semi-public figure. Look it up if you wanna. But anyways,
I'm also going to say, I'm also a lawyer in training, so come fight us. We'll be winning.
Nice. Very cool. So I was born, it used to be, so Sedalia, Missouri, and then up at a hospital there. I don't know if it's even still there or not. And then spent my first few years in life in Marshall, Missouri, because my mom and my dad worked for the state hospital there. That's where they met. So way north of where I live right now. Way north.
Way north.
Yeah. Missouri is interesting because you have the people in the southwest, in the west, and in southern parts of Missouri. And they're more of the traditional redneck, all that area. And then you get...
So I come down here from the south.
And then you got northern Missouri. You've got the Jeff City area, which is the state capital, where everybody's like ultra political. And then you have St. Louis and Kansas City. And depending on what parts of those cities you are in, you can be either dealing with yuppies, ultra political people who sound and look like they actually belong in the East Coast. It's an interesting state because depending on where you are, it's just interesting. I grew up in an interesting state. I know that was random, but
don't mind me. I just smacked my hand against the ashtray.
It happens. But anyways, so chat, I see there's like 2 of you in here. Come on, people.
Do we need to put like a preach out to the stream again, to Twitter again? Because we can do that.
If some of you that are in here wouldn't mind, because Come on, I'm nearing my 40s.
Come on, we need to. Oh, DJ.
Yay! There's
Bloodhound
DJ
here.
H. Thank you, DJ H. I appreciate it. I turned 37. I'm only a few years from 40. Or, as my mom calls it, the age when you start appreciate being carded.
Yeah, if you start getting carded whilst you're still like... I still get carded and I'm like... Because you're supposed to look 25 over here in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I look like I'm 60. I look like I'm 15, boy.
And Linda is still here. Linda is still here. That's nice to see. I wonder how often looking at this it is actually accurate, because sometimes we'll have more people commenting than it shows are actually inside the chat.
Hold on. I'm whipping it up on my YouTube now. It looks like one's watching, but I know that's total fucking bullshit. Come on, guys. We need the comments, love.
I am happy Linda's still here and Jenny's here. I know you were dealing with something. So, yay, November babies and Scorpio. And I've been told that I am the epitome of a Scorpio.
I'm a Virgo through and through.
And yes, believe it or not, in spite of being autistic, sometimes astral sign trumps diagnoses. I will confront anybody, especially when it comes to defending one of my own. That's why I've always said about the Johnny situation. I don't care who the hell he is. None of that had anything to do with it. I don't care. I have defended just as vehemently Andre McCollins, Jennifer Masumba, Antoine Nicholson, Austin Anderson, a lot of other neurodiverse people who are not movie stars. So, just saying. Jenny says she's a March bitch. Oh, honey, whoever called you a whore, I want a name. You can DM it, and I will find them.
And then can we blow up their house?
I'm not going to say anything for, non-incriminating purposes. Just saying. DJ H is an Aries. Oh, and in Chinese zodiac, I was born in the year of the rat. So there's that. Now, I know I've already talked about I really don't want the Eternals to suck. And Zod has already kind of semi-ruined that. Thanks, Zod. Thank you for that. Really. But I'm just going to get my one dig in case Zod watches this later. My one dig. Marvel is still better than DC. And I got one major reason why. Because
if Zod's going to be watching this later, hi.
Marvel didn't hire Amber Heard.
This is true.
That makes them automatically better. Yes, I am that level of salty. I feel like that's a mic drop moment. And to this date, have still not hired her, in spite of what we got this covered, would like you all to believe. And Linda's a Cancer. My emotions, and this is what's fun about me, almost always come out, even when I'm like devastated and sad, for some reason beyond my understanding, it comes out as anger.
Yes.
I don't understand that to this day. It might have something to do with my autism, or might be due to the fact I have autism and PTSD. But yes, even when I'm anxiety ridden and panicking, it's still
Anxiety.
comes out smart ass comments. She knows.
Yes. Sometimes she'll charge into the room when I'm on the phone to Pearl, and it'll just be like, "Fuck everything with a sandpaper dildo," and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, chill out. Are you okay?
And I'm like, and I'm probably gonna be fired. And there's poor Chloe. You're not going to be fired. But if I don't get my numbers up, and it still comes out as anger instead of anxiety. It's weird. It's weird. Except like when I was really upset, like when I lost my dad, because then it took a new type of form. My emotions then took the form of alcoholism. And
we don't talk about my problem.
It's just one of those things. I very rarely ever cry. And by the time I've hit that point, it is one of those like, have you ever heard somebody cry in such a way that it like literally you feel a drop in your very soul?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I actually manage to cry, when I get that level of upset, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Oh, and Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
Hi.
I'm so sorry, like, if anyone's just, like, not completely... If it's just completely thrown over people's heads. But, yeah, everyone in Bramble at the moment is with the new catchphrase of, hi, Felicia! Bye, Felicia! At the moment, and it's just like, whoa.
I blame the movie Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's all Ice Cube's fault, everyone.
I am so sorry if, like, you've heard that so many times before, Felicia. It's just, everyone's just like, it's been a thing in the place that I've lived for a while now.
I used to hate the name that my mom gave me, Tiffany, for years and years and years, because how many freaking Tiffany's were there on TV back in the day as blonde, peppy, high energy, yuppie, airheaded teenage cheerleaders?
Are you sure that's not me on caffeine and weed at the same time?
And she's like, no, you're more doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom. I'm a realist. Although I get pretty bubbly on my birthdays.
You do.
For me, anyways.
For you.
Thank you, Felicia. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was from a film called Friday. This is what I mean about the 90s don't care about your feelings.
Nobody cares about your feelings, guys.
So there's the movie Friday and Next Friday. Chris Tucker's in it. Ice Cube is in it. It's some interesting stuff. It's some interesting stuff. If you want to watch, get an idea of where Gen X gets its mentality, watch some of the movies from that time, especially some of the teenage movies, the ones that were really big, like Dazed and Confused for one, and then compare it to some of the emotional dramas that you see on TV now for teens. It was a completely different decade, like completely different.
I had to go and I had to run upstairs and diffuse an argument upstairs earlier today.
Oh God, what happened now?
Basically, neighbor upstairs who lives on top of me started shouting and screaming like, "Get off! Get out!" And I was just like, "Oh no!" And he was just, and I heard a dude upstairs, and he was just like, "I'm gonna fucking slap ya! I'm gonna slap ya!" And I was just like, I probably got to do something about it. So I ran upstairs, bearing in mind they're still fixing my next door neighbour's door, so that way. And I'm just like, so I felt really sorry for the poor dudes that saw me run up there in a dress, like, and so, like, I was barefoot as well, so I'm surprised I didn't get like a splinter in my foot. So I ran right up the stairs, and I was just like, Casey, it's me. Are you okay? Do I need to call the cops? And she was like, no. If he keeps this up, then yes. And then I was just like, so. And then he was proper having a hissing fit. And them two were both shouting at me. And I was like, calm down. Right. I am not trying to be anyone's friend here. I'm not trying to pick sides. I'm just trying to get the situation resolved.
I got you there. I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. And it was just shocking, really, because, like, I was so basically I had to run up the stairs and just die 1,000 deaths, basically. I then proceeded to shove a massive fat fucking cloud on my vape, which in turn set the fire off. Nailed it, guys.
Back.
Hello.
Hello. Back, everyone. Sorry about that. Oh my god. Freaking 90s comedians. Oh my god. They would have been canceled. They're so misogynistic, and they're this and they're that, and they threw slurs and
Nobody cared about your feelings, sis.
We didn't. We just didn't. They began this culture. They did. The whole we need to be sensitive to everything. And us as freaking teenagers, we're all like, I've got your emotions right here. Though that was pretty much all of us. And it was not that we were all emotionally repressed or that we were thisism or that-ism. We just felt like we should live in a world where we should be free to say whatever the fuck we want to and not have our entire lives destroyed over it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, could you imagine Richard Pryor being a comedian right now? Just the thought. And let's not just talk about comedians from the 90s, the 80s. Holy crap, the 80s. Yeah, Comedy Central has been advocating people trying to cancel it since its inception. They tried to cancel South Park so many damn times. It's not even funny. God, in the 90s, they tried to cancel Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead?
Yes. Are you familiar?
Yes, vaguely.
You know, the whole, I am the great Cornholio.
Yes.
That was started in the 90s. They came off of MTV. And towards the end of the 90s, they did that movie, Beavis and Butthead Do America. I don't care what anyone says. You can call it lowbrow humor if you want, but I thought it was hilarious. Especially compared to what's allowed now. Like, we live in opposite world, I swear, because back in the day, it was the Christians trying to censor everything. can't say cuss words while you're making an album. You can't do this, can't do that. Don't forget just all of that. And it was the Christians. But now we're in this weird spin cycle to where it is now, for lack of a better term, the left that are anti-everything. And people like me who sat there in the middle their whole lives are like, what the hell? You all have literally become the people you hate. People don't seem to understand. They have become the very thing that they hate and have railed against by doing the exact same thing.
I finally got one song out of my system today. Woohoo!
Yay! Oh God, did they try to There is no canceling George Carlin. He's not even with us anymore, and I don't think they could manage to cancel George Carlin. And I do remember that special of his years and years ago, the things you can't get away with saying on television.
Yeah. My brain.
And he did that in the 80s, that particular special. Now you can get away with saying all those words. But, God forbid if you step on anyone's toes and hurt their feelings.
But Tiffany, Carl's mum's a bitch.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I played that during the rant, and it seemed really, really fitting because you were bitching about it as well as that. You were bitching about stuff as well from earlier times. So I'm like,
now I got. It was a very interesting time to grow up in and be a teenager in, and then watch as the polar opposite then took the place of what the Christians were doing back then. It's been
cancel everything!
Cancel everything! Cancel Manson! You mean the same things the Christians were doing back in the day? They didn't get it done now, did they? And they had a hell of a lot more money backing them than these people do. Just saying, they did have a lot more money.
Oh, fucking hell. I've forgotten one song. Right, there's a song that I want to play and I've forgotten what it was.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's saying we have 8 views. I find it interesting that certain comments get erased from my channel before I'm even able to read them, or they do this with the weird, you only have 8 people watching when there's more people in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Why? What threat does this tiny channel possibly pose that we're just going to remove comments and pretend not as many people are watching as are actually watching?
Because everyone...
I hardly have thousands of subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think Manson can handle himself, and he is handling himself very well. It's just that boy has been they have been trying to cancel him since he first came out. This is not his first rodeo, not by a long shot. At this point, he's like, oh, they're trying to cancel me? It must be Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
My God, they've been trying to cancel freaking Eminem since the early 2000s.
Hi, kids. Do you like violence? Do you want to see me stick 9-inch nails for each one of my eyelids? Try sit and get funked up worse than my life is?
Yep. That is... You can tell he's from Gen X just by the songs he has written. You can tell. There's a very distinct difference from those of us who run from that generation, especially out here in the States. Especially when Gen Z and the boomers start going at each other's throats, and there's Gen X sitting on a couch with a martini and a smirk.
Or obviously, like, here's the thing. I know I'm 100% born in the wrong generation because, like, shit that I listen to, it's like, shit that I listen to, my generation will get offended with.
Yeah, in the 90s, all of that stuff was really just getting started. But don't underestimate how bad they came after Manson, especially after Columbine. They tried to throw that entire tragedy and blame him for it. And it was all mass media back then. And granted, it was just message boards back in the day and chat rooms, but they utilized them. So don't underestimate just how hard they came after them after that happened. His face was posted on multiple magazines, from the tabloids to entertainment magazines to everywhere. I remember that. It was insane. The lame lies solely with the abuser. I like that. I know the blame lies solely with the abuser, but I like the term the lame because the abuser is lame. I'm going to do something so 90s that probably physically hurts. They're losers. And they're so much so losers that they have to grift themselves onto someone else in order to feel relevant.
Mm-hmm.
That is what people like AH are.
Mm.
They are the name droppers. They are the people who will hook themselves up to whatever star will make their own light shine brighter, but have no ability to stand as a power in and of themselves.
Mm.
I was today years old, Felicia, when I found that out. Apparently, I was today years old. So essentially, that means 36 till midnight years old. But yeah, interesting times, people. God, I still remember when there wasn't mass media and internet was literally just Yahoo chat rooms. By the way, those things got crazy.
So Yahoo. This is how Facebook came into being, correct?
No, you think Facebook is bad? Yahoo chat was crazy.
What I'm talking about is the fact that you could get put in Facebook jail for literally saying you wanted to.
No, Yahoo, it was zero censorship. Zero. None. No moderation. Nothing. It was a free-for-all. And some of those people, holy crap.
Ding! That sounds like my school in the early 2000s.
They were special. They were special, and there was a chat room.
Again, that sounds like my school in the early 2000s.
There was a chat room for freaking everything.
So,
there was all kinds of things. Chat rooms for those into BDSM. I remember this because, back then, not everybody had their own computer or laptop. You had the family computer. So those kids who wanted to get into those rooms had to wait for mommy and daddy to be at work before they could enter those naughty chat rooms. Interesting times, as Tugs like to say. Interesting times. It was kind of the Wild West back then. The internet really was. There was no censorship, no moderation. Nothing.
Right, here's another thing. Right? You see these things? We didn't have touchscreen phones.
No, we had a little tiny thing.
It was called a brick phone. Let's be honest here. You could launch it off a 20-story building and that would still be alive.
We had something about this big, made out of plastic, with plastic buttons. It looks like a toy phone. It looks like nowadays.
I mean, those things you could launch off a 20-story building, and those things will still be alive.
Yay! Hi, Screendy.
Hi. Yeah.
All hell metal. All hell metal. I'm just saying. And my brother's to blame, but you know how that goes with older brothers.
I was introduced to metal through basically like finding my obsession with rock, and then I ran into my now partner Harry. He's he was a full-blown metalhead, Viking beards, everything. You could tell he was. So what you could tell, he was the stereotypical metalhead. And then he just one day he showed up to D&D, button-up shirt and just a metal shirt underneath, and then he was just there chugging a beer, and I'm just looking at him and I'm like, so you have 7 seconds to make a really good first impression. Yep. The first seconds was he's kind of cool.
Oh my God, I'm just remembering so many things. Back then, kids, instead of being like this on social media, we would have long, massive neighborhood, large, wide, freaking water balloon fights, and it was glorious.
So did we.
Okay, so Scrindy, yes, you may totally drop a neurodivergent depth question. Well, we're waiting on that, Miss Linda. Yes. Oh my God! And the original Flip Thrones, where you had to sit there and do to
get a proper. You have to figure out how many times you needed to get that letter.
And then God help you if you misspelled a word, because by the time you've typed it, you're like, fuck it, whatever.
You know what I meant.
And folks, fun fact about me, I refused to get a cell phone for years. I did not get my first actual cell phone until I was 23 years old, because if I didn't get it and text my mom constantly when I was in England, she would have probably flew there, in spite of her fear of planes, by my short hairs on the scruff of my neck. Fun fact. I don't blame her, though. She was right. She was right.
How was it over here, by the way, Miss Tiff?
Loved it. I loved Scotland a lot more, though.
Spoiler alert, the UK's turned to shit.
Yeah, okay. So, Asperger's was what the diagnosis used to be called when they were labeling people like myself, who wasn't what they consider the classic canners, because they only see us when we're quote-unquote high functioning and don't see our functionality fluctuate on any given basis. Folks, believe it or not, people like Chloe and I, we have our moments where we are nonverbal. You're not getting a word out of us. And sometimes it's not just a choice. Yes. But Asperger's, it was called Asperger's in the DSM-4. And it was basically a group of us that they considered just had a dab of autism, was what I was told when I was diagnosed with it.
This is utter
bullshit, by the way.
Everyone got into an argument here about my diagnosis.
But anyways, when they would just use that particular term for that. Well, Asperger, where he developed his diagnosis, he was a Nazi camp doctor. Yeah. There's a reason why the majority of the community don't like the term. And the people who tend to still use it are the ones who want to separate themselves from their fellow autistics. They want to say, I'm disabled, but not like them. It's othering
Gina's shouting at you.
The majority of the spectrum.
Gina's shouting at you.
Oh. Sorry, I was on a rant. Okay, it's basically on the spectrum, just people trying to be high-functioning special. No. No. I never said that Asperger's was just us, trying to be special, trying to be different. No. It is a group of individuals who, on a whole, on a day-to-day basis, we can communicate to a point that you regular people on the street can understand us. There's not a lot of things there's some issues that we don't have that some other people on the spectrum have. We are more adaptive to society when we are functioning properly, I think is the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. What I was referring to, they're called the Aspie Supremists. Aspie Supremists are a group of individuals who thinks that their divergence makes them superior to everyone else. Which is why people like Elon Musk prefer that term instead of calling himself actually autistic. Because they want this separation. See,
I would like to be referred to be called an arsehole sometimes because I am brutally honest.
So, yeah, there's a major difference there.
Yeah.
Right? Thank you. Because guess what? My meltdowns, if you were to film them and then compare them with classic Canners, I promise you, they're identical. They are identical.
My meltdowns are terrifying, to say the least.
Exactly.
My partner, multiple times, he turned around, he's actually caught me crying in my sleep to a degree that I'm having a full-blown meltdown, to a degree that I've ended up punching him in my sleep.
So, okay, there is a majority of the autistic community who think Elon is full of shit. We don't actually, I won't say that we don't think he's autistic at all. We're not going to say that because we don't know, and I don't want to be that person. But we feel like he took on that particular title
because to say that he's fine.
Basically,
to justify what he does.
To justify what he does and get away with bad behavior.
Basically, get away with murder.
But he doesn't want to be viewed like the rest of us autistics are viewed. So he's going to take the almost autism light title instead and use that as a means to get away with whatever the hell he wants. We call it the autism shield for a reason because many people have used the diagnosis to literally try to get away with murder. Many people, when he came out, all of us, we were pissed because after calling autism a disease,
autism is not a disease,
and a brain injury, amongst other things, basically calling us.
I'm sorry, but I definitely think he's probably gotten dropped on his head at birth. If he's saying that,
going to use brain chips to fix us to then have the balls to go up there and claim he's an Aspie, to simultaneously
Aspie! I'm not going to be funny, but here's my thing.
For any of his stupid actions he has done. But also, point two, but I'm still superior to you and everyone else? Yeah, we were furious. Go ahead. Sorry, Chloe.
Okay, about the so there was a whole debate about like if I was autistic or if I was diagnosed with Asperger's. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I then proceeded to walk out into the car park with a massive cardboard sign saying I am autistic. Just to clear up the debate.
I always tell these people who say, well, you're not really autistic. I'm like, my 3 diagnostic teams that I've saw separately who have confirmed and reconfirmed my diagnosis beg to differ. Just saying. All right, so Scrandy said, am I correct in assuming that Musk is perhaps scared of his deposition because he's a horrible liar because he's autistic? He said autism is a disease. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I could probably dig up the interview if I don't, but you know what? It's my birthday and I don't want to. Oh, well, it will be my birthday.
Can we just save my blood pressure, please?
Yeah.
Because I kind of need that on the down low at the moment for the sake of I've got my job next week.
So, yes, many of us believe what he was doing was he was using his autism. And guess what, Elon? You're autistic just like the rest of us. And using the name Aspie does not make you any less autistic than anybody else on the spectrum. And yes, honey, that includes the nonverbals. Get the hell over yourself. Sorry. But not sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Here was something really funny as well. Another autistic female, she said to me, you must have been a cat in your past life. Because my stims remind her of a cat.
Oh.
So, because she's seen me when I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows, like, even staff know when I do it. It's because I'm scared or upset. If it's with my left hand, then I'm scared or upset. But if I do that, they know I'm excited. So I'm there doing that and squeak. And they're just like, oh, that's so cute. And I'm just there cupping my mouth and just going, sorry.
Hey, all of us got weird stems. I play with scrunchies and hair ties. This is how I stem. Because in the 90s, if you were autistic and you had to appear not weird, you had to make your stems as invisible as humanly possible.
Can I also point out, like, Paul said that you also stand on one leg as well?
On occasion.
You like flamingo for a second? So you're just like, flamingo.
I'll do something like this, and I will do this, and I will push down, and I will crack my freaking kneecap, and it feels fabulous. If I want to make my kneecap pop back into place, I will, and I don't care who's watching. Because, like most of my generation, I don't care about people's feelings or being socially awkward.
Yep.
But God, everyone in this community, they're so cute. And every time they say it about Down syndrome adults, it makes me twitchy. It does.
Justin Fletcher. He's someone well known in the UK. Gina the House Mouse will know this as well. He did a TV show called Something Special. He taught sign language on the TV show.
Nice.
So we're talking the autistic, the like Down syndrome, the like, or any other learning disabilities.
Right.
Makaton. So like there's Makaton and then there's BSL, which is British Sign Language. Sorry, I can't speak. And then there's the Makaton, which I know. For example, my partner signed, "Shall we get off the bus here and walk home?" And I just went, and he was like, and as soon as we got off the bus, he turned around and he said to me, "I didn't know you knew Makaton. How did you know?" And I was just like, so I looked at him, started smirking and going, "It's funny what you know when you had to go to school with someone with Angelman syndrome."
Or anyone with disabilities for that matter. But yeah, anybody who is a frequenter of the Actually Autistic hashtag, as I am, that's why my follower count is so high, folks. It's because I am part of 2 large communities. But anyways, we were not impressed. There were a few autistics that tried to defend him, but the good majority of us were furious.
Even when you said that to me, I was like, Paul went mental, and then I was just like, why? Why is he saying we're fucked up? We're more human than any of the others can be.
And then you're going to go and call yourself an Aspie. I'm like, interesting fact. Even in the DSM-4, before we did away with the diagnosis, Asperger's syndrome was still on the autism spectrum. Just saying. Just saying. And also, it is the fact that he called himself an Aspie. See, all the way back many years ago, back 2008, 2009, the DSM-5 removed Asperger's syndrome as an official diagnosis. He can't even technically call himself that. He's autistic, just like the rest of us. But
I was diagnosed at the age of 10. So they can confirm that I am on the spectrum, but they do not know, because they've phased out Asperger's as a thing in the UK as well. They turned around and they said, "You are on the spectrum."
yep.
And it was kind of liberating.
I was confused at the very beginning. I used to believe at the time period when it was happening that it was going to be a bad thing. And here was my reasoning of the time period, so folks don't get mad at me. It was that the needs were very, very different depending on where you are on the spectrum. And I was afraid that a bunch of us who had been diagnosed, who are what they would call very much on the fringes, would not get the diagnosis or have access to services anymore because they were removing the diagnosis from us and making it that much harder for us to even get diagnosed in the first place. And I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong about that. It is much harder now than when I got a diagnosis to get diagnosis to being on the autism spectrum. But at the same time, it cleared up a lot of stuff. There was a lot of inconsistencies there, so a lot of misunderstandings. Oh, good Lord. Ginny, are you okay?
No, she sent me a message regarding someone else. I'm not naming names, but Yeah.
Well, we're here for you, Jenny. Thank you, Scrindy. It's nice to be approaching 40 in a few years and be told that I look like a supermodel. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
This
That's
is me
very
just come
sweet
out
of
from
you.
the shower and I'm in my PJs. I don't give a shit.
What do I look like usually on Mondays? No makeup. Hair is messed up. The bangs are oily. And I'm like moving them all around the place all the time. You're fine, dear. You don't look nearly as bad as I do on Mondays. Where you all look like concerned for my mental health. Oh, Gina, I know. My mom probably thinks I'm still not wet behind the ears yet. Well, TJ, yeah, on Mondays though, like this front part here is oily, and Chloe can vouch for me that I just like constantly do this, and I keep having the oily parts flap in the middle of my face, and there's no makeup, and I look like I want to go and start an MMA fight with somebody. And how are you, Chloe? You okay?
Yeah, I'm reading.
Okay. Yay! Kirsty is here. Thank you, Kirsty. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming by. Thank everybody for coming by. I kind of feel like I got a get out of jail free card because I had posted all the embarrassing pics like before at the beginning of the stream when there was less people. But they might go ahead and rewind it and watch it anyway. It's nice to see all these people here and coming in and out. But yeah, we were not friends with Mr. Elon. It is, yeah, that was a massive meltdown of the entire autistic community. And a lot of people who weren't even familiar with the JD versus AH case were speculating that he was using it as a shield to avoid something involving courts. I didn't even have to tattle on him. He's literally that transparent, apparently. Yes, I did the obligatory. Look at me.
I need
Back when I was 19, 18 years old. Or standing next to my two brothers. It was nice of you to say I don't look like that anymore, Chloe. It makes me feel like I might have aged at least a little. Hit me in the feels.
Tiffany, I'm not going to lie. Like, the thing is, you look beautiful for your age.
Thank you. And you do too. And you do spectacular makeup.
Thank you.
You really do.
My makeup, it took years to perfect. Really took years to perfect.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm trying to find a photo. This one's a bit blurry, but like we can live with that. If people can see behind the fact that like it's blurry, we should be fine. There we go.
Ooh, but the hair though.
That was a wig.
I don't care. It was on point.
Thank you. I really want to get that wig again, just so I can look, because it made me feel happy. Oop. Windows. God dang it.
And I did the streaks. I had blonde and copper streaks in my hair in those beginning photos. There you go. You could. God, it took me like 20 years to figure out how to do a proper eyeliner little wings off of my eyes, folks. That's like how untalented I am in the makeup department. I would try to do the Egyptian's eyes, but I'd only use eyeliner on the bottom part of my eyes. And then, oh my God, the roller glitter was big in the early 2000s, and I used it like it was going out of style. Cheeks, forehead, neck. Yeah, roller glitter was a major thing for me back in the day. And blue lipstick for some god awful reason. And TJ says, lovely, Chloe. See? And you look great without the makeup, too.
This is sleep deprivation and a load of caffeine in my system now, guys.
Like me on Mondays. I believe you would define that as, what would I call that? I look like a hot mess. And like I want to pick a fight. Which I usually pick with the JRC, so at least it's constructive.
Mm.
Yeah, and she agrees that your makeup looks great. And I don't know, that's a huge compliment. For once in my life, finally somebody says, you look beautiful for your age, instead of, you look beautiful like you're like 18. God, that got old. Like, can I look my age one time? My mom was like, you'll appreciate it when you're older. Mom, not helping.
But I still look like I'm 15.
No, you don't. At least not to me.
That makeup that I did was like when I was actually like 17. So, yeah.
Right? No. So it was frosting was huge in the 90s. Where you frost your hair gray and blue lipstick.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was huge. And Rammstein did it.
Rammstein did do it.
And I watched that Live Ost Berlin DVD. My God, I'm just glad you can't wear them out like you could wear out the old VHS. And oh my God, more story time. I remember VHS because that was the majority of my life, and Blockbuster and all of it. I remember, God, when there used to be catalogs where if you joined a club, you could get certain VHS tapes for a certain price every month, and I would get to pick out one.
Not sponsored, not affiliated, but if Monster wants to sponsor me, I will be totally down for that shit.
All right. Cue in Chloe's ad for the channel. for us or her channel to get sponsored by Monster. I still, because I do these videos, these guys can tell you, called That Word Doesn't Mean What You Think It Means. And I took the phrase from Princess Bride because reasons that movie. If there's one movie that's quote unquote romantic that I'm actually willing to watch, Princess Bride. All the way. That movie is hilarious and glorious. Just saying. So I took that word from That Word Doesn't Mean What You Think It Means, and I would use it to basically troll the trollers.
Yeah.
With some of the stupid crap, the words they try to throw around with no concept what they actually mean. So me being a smartass, and yes, I have heard that my entire life. Not nearly as big as a smartass as my brother, but still, I can compete a little bit. Oh my gosh, right? And I used to be able to get collections of all the old Looney Tunes and Felix the Cat and really old cartoons. And I could get them in a box set and rent them all. And I would just watch them one after the other. It was glorious. God, I miss that. That was so fun. Right? Princess Bride is a goddamn classic, and nobody can change my mind. They cannot change my mind.
For the photo in that of my prom dress of me, guess who did the makeup for prom?
You? I had my makeup done. My mom, especially for senior prom.
I did mine to a degree that people actually said to me, "Did you get that professionally done?" I said, "No. I sat there and did it myself."
Nice.
Because I'd rather look completely different to all the other girls who wore fake tan and just...
Oh no, my original idea, and mom talked me out of it, but my original idea was to go in a holey t-shirt and a dog collar with my hair spiked up as long as it was, completely straight and dyed blue, with holey jeans and barefoot. Just to make a point. Just to make a point. Unfortunately, I did not get to do that. More's to pity. I wore the medieval dress as a kind of a compromise. It's not.
Oh, no, I wanted to go full proper queen. So I even tried to lose weight for my prom photo that year.
Yay, just call me Hen. Hen has her own channel. She's fabulous. Thank you for coming by. Oh no, I was going to go full on as punk as I could possibly go. Just to be the absolute antithesis of all the other bitches there. And they all wore the same dress in different colors. I kid you not. That was a thing back in the day. Right? Thank you. Somebody sees it my way. Somebody gets it. It would have been freaking fabulous. It would have been great. And I would have been kicked out immediately, but as they dragged me out, I would have been yelling, "It's worth it!"
Totally. Oh, there was this one kid. They decided to... I give them so much respect for what they did. And I'm going to openly admit it.
Yes.
So this kid was like they were told like to identify as a male, right? Kid, long hair. It's a dude, by the way. Or assigned male at birth. And they proceeded to wear a dress with a corset and decided to look the most androgynous motherfucker there was there.
Nice.
He then proceeded to turn around and say to everyone who's not wearing a corset, fuck you, you do not know the pain. And then just walked out, and it was just like, wait, what just happened? I looked at my teachers looked at me, and we all just looked at each other like, what the fuck just happened?
It's okay. We've almost been going for 2 hours now, so probably when it hits the 2-hour mark, we'll go ahead and go, because I gotta eat dinner and, take my Benadryl so I don't die of allergies trying to go to sleep.
Hold on, I need to find a picture of what happened with me at prom, because there's pictures of me at prom, but there's one really nice picture of me and the one of the teachers called Mrs. Burns. But we used to call her Burnsy.
God, you had a Mr. Burns.
No, we had a Miss Burns.
Aww.
But we used to call her Burnsy.
But if it were Mr. Burns, he could have gone in class. Excellent.
No, we called her Burnsy because she was awesome.
So while she's picking up pictures, does anyone remember when The Simpsons were good?
There we go. There's me and Mrs. Burns.
Pretty.
But we all called her Burnsy.
Nice.
She was lovely. We all called her Burnsy because so there were prick kids in every single class. Okay?
Good God. I thought out here was bad.
No, every single class. So, do you want to know what she did? She would walk in, burst the door open, and just go. She would scan the room. And as soon as she entered the room, you were prepared for an insult to happen to the pratty kid.
Oh, good God. Go with your story. We'll talk about Hen's awesome comment after that.
And then, right, one of the ones that really stuck with me this, a couple of days, during school was, so who dressed you up this morning? Your mother or your brother? Or your dog? Because this kid looked so scruffy. And she was like, I do not want the smell of Doritos. I don't want the smell of gamer fuel in the classrooms.
So, Just Coming says my son used to wear a pink backpack and have a fluffy pencil case at work just to wind people up. That's glorious. Oh, she meant school. It's okay. Nobody's brain is functioning. And for your prom outfit, fabulous outfit.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was an awesome dress. You never knew your teacher's last name?
I knew that teacher's first name. Her name was Tina. But she was like a cool Tina. She wasn't one of the ones that was just like, I'm going to fucking get you sort of Tina. She was a backlash. So basically what happened was this kid insulted me. Miss Burns was in my classroom at the time. or Tina was in my class at the time, and she just turned around and went, so basically what you're saying is Chloe's more actually mentally smarter than you, whilst you are sitting here basically mentally retarded.
Ooh. Bam. Now,
this was the worst part, because everyone knew my diagnosis. He said, but she's got autism. Doesn't make you less the fact that you're more mentally retarded than her.
Nice. Had this. Go ahead. Sorry.
So the fact that like she backlashed at him, and it was just like, whoa. The whole class fell silent. The teacher that was in the classroom just golf claps like the whole time, and then it was just like, oh, burn, bro. And that's why she got the name Burnsy.
I had a band teacher when I lived, in freaking Miller. If you want to talk about podunk dueling banjos playing in the background, Miller. That was Miller. But we had somehow managed to get an incredibly talented band director. His name was Akers. Well, his name was actually Max Akers or Mr. Akers, but we never called each other that. It was Daniels Akers. Daniels Akers. This would go on for the entirety of the class. It was great. I miss that guy. I hope he's gotten a lot better job. There's not many schools in the UK where you can call teachers by their first name. In some schools, the students are called by their last name. I was always Daniels. Daniels. My brother was too.
My initials were CC. So she turned around, she referred me to, and then my brother was CC as well. So she turned around, she was like, I'm going to call you Astrid. I'm like, oh, God. Because your stage name is Astrid.
Okay, TJ, we approve. For her sixth formal, she wore a black skirt, tie-dye black shirt, studded belts, and 5-inch high, knee-high lace-up boots. I approve.
At least you actually had the bollocks to do that in sixth form. I didn't. I just managed to have the bollocks to wear my fucking like 6-inch platform ankle boots in college.
Oh man. All right, folks. So we're gonna start winding down because, I have to start. This is how early I start the slow preparation towards 5 o'clock to go to bed. Call center hours are fun.
I'm going to start doing normal work hours, so wish me luck.
So we're going to go ahead and wind down, everyone. Oh, it's like your senior high. Okay, I gotcha. So, we're covering the JRC every morning until that school is either burned to the ground or shut down. At this point, I don't care which one. If you watch the videos that I do, and I know it's hard because I do one every single day, but
how do you not burn yourself out, sugar?
But it's becoming more and more cult-like and bizarre every time I bring up new information on the place. So keep an eye out for those. And if you get behind, I always put what part of the video I'm a part of so that you know to go back into history and pull up number 1, then 2, then 3. Chloe, at some point, she has a new job, folks, but she is at some point going to get to where she can go ahead and start getting going on her channel.
And
so
I'm also going to be
look out for that.
Streams as well.
Don't forget to catch, even though they're not here, Keely Talks General Zod or Mr. Zod, depending on what platform he is on. Rob Rules, Stevie, Spiritually Empowered Coaching. Don't forget to watch all those videos. They're all great people. And as far as whatever's going on in YouTube, if people are still bickering, like Zod, I choose to be Switzerland.
Same.
So it's been fantastic to have everyone here. Thank you so much for coming along for my birthday, especially you, Miss Chloe. I know you're getting ready to start that new job. Is it tomorrow?
No, it's Monday, 15th.
Monday. I gotcha. It's been great. There might be a review probably my next weekend because we all know how exhausted I get in regards to the Eternals. Hopefully it doesn't suck. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will catch you all on Twitter. Bye-bye.